Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you everybody for coming. Welcome to Westminster Adult Education Service, although we are remote. We are recording this session, so if you don't want to appear on the recording, then please turn your camera off. So welcome to today's AAT Accounting and Bookkeeping online open event. We're delighted to see so many of you here. So a little bit of housekeeping. Oh, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Gail Birkin, the Head of Apprenticeships and Professional Pathways, and AAT Accounting falls within my area. So a little bit of housekeeping. As I said, we are recording this, so if your camera is on and you don't want to appear on the recording, then I suggest that you turn it off. The host will mute everybody. And at the end of the session, there is an opportunity to ask questions. So if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, then please do put the question in the chat functionality, which is the little speech bubble box on your Teams toolbar, or raise your hand and we'll come to you at question time. And to raise your hand, it's the little hand icon on your toolbar. I really do hope that you get an awful lot from this event. Just to point out as well that we are having a real life in the flesh open event on the 26th of June, on Saturday the 26th of June at our Lisson Grove Centre. So if any of you want to come along and meet us in the flesh as well, then you're more than welcome to do so. So I'd like to start off, please, by telling you that we're now going to have a look at some videos. We've got a video presentation from our head of service, Aranola Ede, and then we also have another video just giving you a guided virtual tour around our 3 sites. So thank you, Charlotte. I shall mute myself and turn my camera off for the moment.
I'm Aranola Ede, the Principal and Head of Service for Westminster Adult Education Service. We are the City Council's main adult education provider, and I'm here to welcome you to our virtual open day. Usually we'd be welcoming you physically to our centres, but as with everything else that's changed for us all this year, it's not possible to do that. So we're having to do this virtually. What we have been able to do throughout the last year is adapt our teaching and our learning spaces to ensure that we can support you on your learning journey. And what that means is that you can engage with us either online or face-to-face, depending on what the situation is. And what that means is that we will put in the right level of support for you so that you can achieve your goals. And whether that's learning for pleasure or learning for work, we will ensure that the right support is there for you. But it also means that you get the opportunity to learn about how to keep yourself and your family safe online. I look forward to welcoming you either physically at one of our centres or virtually online. Enjoy the tour.
Thank you very much for that, Charlotte. So as you can see, that gives you a bit of a flavour of our 3 campuses, and also you had our head of service, Aranola, welcoming you. Our AAT courses are delivered predominantly from our Lytton Grove site, but we also have some delivery at Pimlico. So I'm just going to give you a very brief introduction to our accounting courses, and then I'm going to be introducing you to someone very, very important indeed. So we deliver a variety of accounting and bookkeeping courses at levels 1, 2, 3 and 4. And Laddie, who is the course leader, is going to be going into an awful lot more detail when I hand over to him. We deliver a blended learning model, which means that it's a mixture of face-to-face classroom on-site sessions and also online sessions like we're doing now. But in addition to this, at levels 2, 3 and 4, we use a platform called Mindful Education, where learners also study in their own time, and that supports what they're learning with us at WAES. You will be taught and supported along your journey by a group of very, very dedicated, passionate, professional people, not just your tutors, but everybody else that you're going to meet at Westminster Adult Education Service. It's really important that we all support you, because we want you to ultimately achieve your goals. So our provision was graded 2 in the last Ofsted inspection, and grade 2 means good. So that's really fantastic. And we are aiming to improve on this and be outstanding. We're pretty much there already, to be honest. This year, this academic year, considering it's been in the middle of a pandemic, we've had approximately 170 learners start their AAT accounting courses with us at levels 1, 2 and 3. Level 4 is going to be new to us next year. We regularly ask our learners for feedback, what you think and feel is so important to us. And so here's just a snapshot of learners this year who are undertaking AAT qualifications and what they've said in recent learner surveys. So I will read these out. We've got one here that says, my tutor is excellent and explains everything in a clear and precise manner. Another learner says, I love the enthusiasm from the teacher and the pace of the teaching. Another learner has said, I really enjoyed the teaching and the different approaches used to clarify things I didn't understand, and the way my tutor makes a link between what we're learning and the types of jobs available, which is absolutely fantastic. Another learner said that I like meeting and learning with the other students because they are all so eager to learn, which motivates me to learn too. And the last bit of feedback that I've got from you is the learner has said, the tutor asked us individually what we would like to focus on and work to help us achieve our individual goals. So we are really looking forward to welcoming you to Westminster Adult Education Service in September, or possibly on courses that start later in the academic year. If you do see me out and about in the corridors, please stop me and say hello. I love to meet our learners. And now I'm going to hand over to Laddie, who is the course leader for our AAT accounting courses. Thank you very much.
Can you see the slides now, please?
Yes, we can, Laddie. If you could just make it full screen, that would be super.
One second. Okay, there you go. So thank you. Can you hear me clearly, please?
Yes, we can hear you, Laddie.
Thank you very much. That's my able boss, Jill. Very on point, always making sure that things are working properly for you. Welcome, everyone. Very glad to see you here, and thank you for the time you've taken. My name is Laddie Tokosi, as stated here. I'm the course leader, and I work with a very small but very dedicated team that ensures that we bring the very best to you. And our standard is actually aimed at world standard. It's not about adult education, it's about benchmarking our standard to the best of AAT on a global level. So the AAT qualification is a very global qualification in over 90 countries, from South Africa to Sri Lanka to Nigeria to all over the world. So it's something that gives you a very good opportunity to make your qualification portable. So you actually can migrate with your qualification easily across borders. And that's a very good thing about AAT. The likely difference between what you do in the UK might just be the tax and law. The law in the UK or the tax in the UK might not be exactly the same as other countries. But I can assure you that most of the colonies, most of the countries are actually former British colonies who use British law. Very, very similar. Now, the AAT qualification, as Gail correctly said earlier, is actually more of bookkeeping and accounting. Now, people tend to ask the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. For those who've been on the course over time, I think you know the difference. It's about bookkeeping, it's about keeping historic transactions. You do not really originate those transactions, but you keep those records for probity and for decision making. So somebody else will do more of the decisions, you keep the books. Accounting and finance, on the other hand, or finance, is actually more of making decisions from the bookkeeping records. And it moves a bit more towards finance. So you see, accounting is a bit more than bookkeeping. It goes further into decision making, strategy, and then the next line, more importantly, is that you are actually building yourself to lead. You're actually becoming a leader. As you go to the ranks and you go to the levels, you'll discover that the curriculum takes you to leadership roles. So it's a role of responsibility, and it's a role that the world is seeking right now, especially in London and UK particularly. Leadership is going to be very important. Leadership with a lot of financial knowledge is going to be very important, especially with big data analysis. So that's where finance comes in. So you move from bookkeeping into accounting, and then accounting leads you into finance, which is a big deal. It can be applied in any organization also. I give examples here of the most popular names in the UK: National Health Service, the Army, HSBC, any organization that deals with money, even the graveyard, they do keep accounts with local councils. So to a large extent, they do enjoy the opportunity to have a wide scope of opportunity to get jobs. Now, the qualifications we offer at WAES are based on the levels, and you'll notice that the first level is the bookkeeping. It's emphasized there that it's bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is when you learn the basic rules of keeping historic transactions. You do not get too involved in making decisions at that point, but you learn how to keep records properly. So bookkeeping is typically level 1, the basic level of accounting. It is accounting, but it's a bit like saying manager and clerk. A clerk will be a lower level manager in a way, but they do the same role. They migrate eventually forward, or they progress forward. Now, accounting software also is a level 1 qualification, but it is not bookkeeping. It is really about learning how to use the software to keep bookkeeping records. Here's the one you do manually. You learn the bookkeeping principles of bookkeeping to ensure that you understand the basics of accounting. But here you also learn how to use software. You could use QuickBooks, Sage, Xero, ACPAC, so many different packages now that you can use to keep your records. Makes things a lot more efficient, makes things a lot more smooth and neater. You are a lot more efficient when you use software. But generally speaking, these two are level 1 courses, and you will see in the next slide how long they take. They typically take about 10 weeks, 1 term, to do each of these courses, level 1 courses. Level 2 courses, you see here, is a level 2 course. It's called the Foundation Certificate in Accounting. It is the very first level of the AAT's professional qualification. When the AAT says professional qualification, what they mean is these 3 levels. Level 2, level 3, and level 4 is the full AAT qualification. To become an AAT qualified technician, you basically are going through level 2, 3, and 4. These 2, 3, 4 are the professional levels of the AAT qualification, but at different levels. Level 2 is called the Foundation Certificate. Level 3 is called the Advanced Diploma. So certificate, diploma, and then we have the Professional Diploma, which is the level 4 qualification. Some tend to ask in the sessions, what is the meaning of level 1, 2, 3, or 4? I will just start from level 4. Level 4 technically is the same thing as year 1 of a UK degree. Level 3 is like an A level. Level 2 is more like a GCSE. Put in that context. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but it places it in that context. A level 4 qualification would give you direct access to year 2 of a university degree. And you can check most universities. When you finish the AAT, you tend to go to year 2, not year 1. So you get 1 year off. Now, the duration. Level 1 qualifications, bookkeeping, typically takes 1 term. A typical term would be between 10 to 12 weeks. Let's just say 12 weeks. So that's about 12 weeks. for the level 1 bookkeeping qualification. And we normally have 3 terms in a year. So in the academic year, we have 3 terms. Bookkeeping will take about 10 weeks to 12 weeks, which is about 1 term. Accounting software also is level 1. Level 1 courses tend to take about 1 term, 10 to 12 weeks. Now, the level 2 course will take what you call 1 year, 1 academic year, which is actually 3 terms. That's about 30 to 33 weeks in total. Level 3 course takes the same duration. Level 4 is slightly more. It takes up to 15 to 18 months. So let's say 4 terms on average. We put up this slide particularly to just emphasize the mode of study. Now, this is coming from WAES website. If you go to WAES website and you search for under the courses and you select the accounting courses, you will see this here, and you will see the modes of study stated there. And like Gail correctly stated earlier, the level 2 course is a combination of online and in-class. Level 3 course is also combining that, and level 4 also has the same. If you want any further information about this after this session today, after the Q&As, and you need further information, please note the contact details are here if you want to contact us later. But this is coming from the website where there's a lot more information if you go in and look for the accounting course. Entry requirements. Level 1 is more of what they call the open access entry, subject to these conditions. For level 1 courses, the 2 level 1 courses, it has to do with demonstrating some learning, speaking, reading, and writing skills. It's more skills based, so it will actually involve some interview and some basic assessments if you don't have any previous qualifications. But it doesn't stop anything, because we just have to assess that you can communicate properly and you have basic reasoning skills. You can see here there's really no calculations, really. There's really no mathematics going on here. It simply means just to demonstrate the ability to pay attention and to read, write, and communicate effectively with people and in groups. And the second option here is the one called the digital skills. Because of the format of delivery and the circumstance we find ourselves now, digital IT skills are very important. It's not just about using the computer alone, but also online security, bullying, anti-bullying, and all those other issues that have to do with IT and online digital learning. So those are the 2 things that we require, really. But please, if you're interested, talk to us. It's not a difficult process. It's simply ensuring that we can communicate properly, face-to-face and remotely. That's the entry requirements here. For level 2, there's also an open access entry. And some might say, do I have to do level 1 to do level 2? Sometimes not. Based on experience, based on communication skills and assessment, we might be able to put you in level 2 straight. We normally advise that you do level 1 first in one of these 2 courses. We normally advise that, but it's not mandatory. It's an open access course subject to the same conditions. Now, level 3 and 4 are the ones that have a bit more demand for mathematics. So you see, mathematics and English language particularly is a bit of, when we say English language, we're not saying you're not speaking English here. We're simply saying that there's a certain level of structural English that we expect, because some of the assessments at this level will demand that you also write in a very professional manner. And so therefore it's a bit more demanding. So the entry requirement here would include maths and English for level 3 and 4. But obviously, if you pass level 2, you would have met that requirement. So level 3, if you're coming straight to level 3, you would have to assess your maths and English and your previous qualifications. Level 4 also the same thing. Then we have the, we thought it was very important to draw attention to some requirements of what you would need. There might be very obvious points, but sometimes, just bringing into the awareness might be useful. You have to have a functional PC or personal computer. I would not advise a tablet, even though a tablet is suitable, because some of the platforms online are not designed for tablets. Some of the functions will not work on a tablet. So like a laptop device, for example, or a personal computer, some will use their phones, not really advised, because the screens are too small, and sometimes the functions you might have to use remotely may not be fully activated or visible. Simple things like a calculator, a pen. You don't need a very heavy scientific calculator. You can just buy a basic calculator. But if you really want to do accounting as a profession going to level 4 and onwards, I would advise that you get a scientific calculation, maybe just a basic Casio calculator, 8 pounds or something from Tesco. That calculator will take you till you become a chartered accountant. So don't worry, just get a basic Casio calculator now, and you might just have your time. Basic things like this, diary for keeping records. We have online diaries too. We have electronic diaries. But some people prefer manual diaries, which will keep track of things. Very useful. Software required. Office 365 contains all the software you need. It will be provided to you upon enrollment. WAES is very, very effective at that. The latest versions are provided to you. Excel, Word, PowerPoint, OneNote, everything you need will be provided to you software while you remain enrolled with us. Internet access will be very important also, because if there's any reason why you have to operate remotely, maybe a lockdown or something, then internet access will be very important. I think some of my colleagues will speak to you about that also. In case you find difficulty in obtaining any of this stuff, all these items, it's possible that there are some provisions in terms of funding that could assist you with some of it, subject to assessment, please. Antivirus, very important also for your gadgets and devices. Obviously, transport fare, I mean, it's obvious, but just have to mention it. Transport fare, you know, some budget for that. Subsistence funding for maybe lunch and all the stuff you have to eat. And more importantly, and most importantly, is the attendance. Attendance is not negotiable at WAES. It's critical that every single lecture, if you don't attend, you will get a notice that we are aware that you've not attended and you need to explain why. Attendance is not negotiable, please. You have to make provision for that. Funding available. Generally, the courses at WAES are normally funded, but depending on the levels and the income. And that's why we put the brief here. And these are all available on the website also. If you go to WAES website, you'll see the funding. Just search for funding, you know, at WAES. You'll likely see all the options there. Level 2 typically is funded in most cases, but it's still subject to income, please. Everything I say is still subject to income. Generally funded, as in funded by the government means the courses are funded if you meet the criteria. Level 3 also is normally funded, subject to eligibility assessment. Level 4, some part of level 3 may not be funded if you, for example, do not qualify for the free course, or let's say funded course. You may have under level 3 to look at your income, and that might lead to the loan. And that's why level 3 is appearing in 2 levels. Level 3 could be fully funded depending on your income level, if you are eligible. But if the person is not eligible for that funding fully, there might be the option of going for advanced learners loan. And that's why I put that in asterisk there. Level 4 generally is advanced learners loan. So if your course is unfunded and your loan option applies. Now the loans themselves are, I think, one of the greatest advantages in Britain. The fact that Britain invests in you, invests in us, ensuring that they have the confidence that you would actually grow in your career to earn more than this. The system puts in investment of funding development so that when you earn more than this amount is when you start paying back. And you don't pay back on this amount, you pay in excess of this amount. So please don't worry about this amount here. It's simply saying we want you to earn no less than 26,575. So above that, that's equal to above that, equal to 575 and above. Once, sorry, 576 and above per year, then the funding will start to deduct the money above that amount. I think my colleagues will talk about that, but don't panic about that. They're simply saying we want you to earn a minimum of this amount, and beyond that, we feel that you can then start paying back into the system for any loans you've taken. For any further information, please contact these numbers or this email. The contents of the course. The first level is called the Access Award in Bookkeeping. So when we say AAB, that's a bookkeeping course, level 1 Access Bookkeeping course. It's normally assessed by one examination, and it contains these elements. The role of a bookkeeper, preparing financial reports, understanding how to keep customers and supplier transactions. So when you deal with suppliers or customers, you're in charge of keeping all the records, and processing receipts and payment for all cash transactions. So what you learn at level 1 is really getting you a very solid foundation into the bookkeeping profession. Gail had mentioned earlier about the format, which is going to be, you know, a combination of online and delivery. But that's for level 2 and level 2, 3, 4 generally. Level 1 will still be predominantly, you know, the old formats that we had before. But it's going to be assessed by one exam. In that one exam, 1.5 hours, you do all these units there, and the success rate has been so far, without pretending, it has been 100%. Access Award for accounting software follows the same format. The contents are very similar. The only difference here is that you're dealing with a software. You're recording bank transactions, cash transactions, which is actually the same thing as recording processing receipts and payment here. These are bank transactions. Receipts and payment are bank transactions in the bookkeeping qualification. Customer and suppliers, when you come here, you are dealing with bank transactions on the system using electronic systems. You are producing reports using accounting software, and you are setting up records for customers and suppliers to process transactions from the bank records. So at this point, you would have actually known how to use a software. We use Sage Account, which is the most popular software, and you know how to process transactions properly. Some students tend to do the level 1 bookkeeping for one term, and also do level 1 again, where the other course, level 2, has not started. They do level 1 again to get the software before they go on to level 2. Some just do level 1 and go into level 2 straight. So you have the option of doing any of those two really. Level 2 qualifications is the beginning of the professional qualification in accounting. It's the first qualification that makes you a professional. And that's what's called the foundation certificate account. Bookkeeping transactions is done by exam. Everything is exam basically. Bookkeeping controls is a development of bookkeeping transactions. So you do this one first and then you progress to this. Element of costing is when you know how to calculate cost of products. You have to calculate cost of hotel services, restaurants. How do they calculate their cost? How do they set their price? It's a bit of a strategic management model. You learn how to make decisions. You learn how to calculate cost. You learn how to calculate the cost of a hotel room. How much does it cost me? How much do I set the price? How much profit do I make? Finance is very critical. And when you come from London and Britain, there are two things everybody always asks you globally. One, English language. Two, money. Do you know finance? London. London is about money. London is very, very advanced in money. They're basically the leaders in the world financial sectors. Then using accounting software will be done on level 2 also, at a higher level than level 1. Accounting software here is similar to the previous course, but with extra work you have to do because you are doing higher level work here at level 2. Then the last element is the foundation synoptic, which captures your first 3 units. They put you in a scenario of a work situation, unit 1, 2, and 3. They give you a scenario and you have to operate as if you are working in an office, doing these 3 jobs in a day. They give you tasks for these 3 activities in one assessment to see if you can switch your overall ability to apply your skills in a real work environment. And that's the beauty of the AAT qualification. It's not just about qualification knowledge, it's really about skills also. And when you combine skills and knowledge, you get intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to apply a knowledge. You can check the Oxford Dictionary. It's the ability to acquire and apply knowledge. And that's what the AAT is about really. It's about acquiring the knowledge and then being able to apply it in an intelligent manner in any situation, in any organization. Level 3, advanced diploma, is basically building on the previous one. If you look here, this is advanced bookkeeping, this is financial accounts preparation. These 2 qualifications build, these 2 units, build on these 2 units. They are bookkeeping qualifications going forward into the advanced level. You see here management accounting costing. This is actually an advanced level of this one, element of costing. So you are just progressing into the higher level. You are moving more towards higher management accountant. You're no longer a costing clerk. You are now growing up to become a management accountant. It's a very nice name to have, and it comes with good money. So please take it on board. It's very strategic. Then there's tax also. Indirect tax is more like VAT, value-added tax. You start learning about tax here. You start learning about making decisions and running like a supervisor. You start running operations. You're no longer at the lowest level. You learn spreadsheets and ethics for accountants, and I'll emphasize the spreadsheet because there's a whole new career in accounting called financial modeling. Financial modeling is when you are able to actually use spreadsheets, accounting software, to design strategies, ideas, programs, almost like a programmer. But you're not really learning programming, you're learning how to model. Financial modeling is very, very big. Please take that down, check it online. It's the projection of accounting in the future. You basically are able to use spreadsheets to do what they call magic, you know. Advanced synoptic is very similar to the synoptic. You'll be tested on these 3 units, 1, 2, and 3. This tax is not tested here. Just these 3 units are tested here, plus these 2. These 2 are not assessed. Ethics is about learning about culture, behavior, morality, and how to behave properly as an accountant, professionally, professional conduct and behavior. Spreadsheets about the skills you have. These units are taught to you, but they're assessed in this unit as part of your overall assessment. This is not a separate assessment, these 2. You have the knowledge and skill, but you apply them in your synoptic assessment. So I'm a bit faster because of time. Level 4 particularly is the final one that takes you out with a certificate to become a professional accountant, and you can have your own practice. It is that serious. In the very first slide I saw, you'll see that the salary of the average accountant in London is more than 40 to 50 something thousand pounds, depending on the industry and the size of the business with some experience. Now, this is the final level that takes you out with a qualification as an accounting technician. And to a large extent, you can actually have your own practice license. You actually can run your own business, get your own clients, make your own money, and employ other people. You can see the subjects again are continuing. Financial statements for limited companies is an advanced level of these 2. You can see how it just progresses. It's the same thing that just progresses. These 2 units, which came from these 2 units, these 2 move on to level 3, moves on to level 4, financial statements for companies. You actually can file reports for Company House. You can file reports to HMRC. You can do business financial reports for companies, including reports that will be audited. You can do that. You cannot carry out an audit, yes, but you can prepare the financial reports that can be audited. You can see here there's management accounting here, budgeting and decision making as 2 units, which are basically advanced levels of this one. Then you can see accounting systems and control. It's a unit by itself. It's about understanding some audits, internal control procedures, auditing basically in here, but it's assessed here. This unit is taught to you, but it's assessed within the synoptic. It's not a separate assessment. You learn the knowledge here on how to keep internal control system, to prevent fraud, to ensure that the systems are working properly. You are now a leader. You are now the boss. It's like you running your own business or running a big organization. You are in charge of the control systems. You track everything and you know what's going on. You can reconcile everything that's going on well. And that's why I said you are learning leadership. That will be assessed within your synoptic. Now, these other 2 units are optional. In the level 4 qualification, the AAT gives you the choice of about 5 units that you can choose from. You can choose business tax, you can choose personal tax, you can choose cash and treasury management, which is really about finance. You can learn about auditing as a separate qualification, but we only have to do 2 of them. We have selected to do personal tax because it's very important that at least as an accountant, you should know about personal tax minimum. The whole story about income tax, tax planning, this is not about tax evasion. It's about tax planning, getting an efficient tax system where you can get the lowest possible tax legally and morally. We learn about personal tax. We could have done business tax also, but that would be overemphasizing taxation. So we thought for the 2 units, we'll do business, personal tax. Cash and treasury management is extremely important. This is where you apply your Excel skills. You also apply your Excel skills, these spreadsheet skills you learn here. You can apply them here to build tax plans for different people. And this is where you start dealing with a lot of people who are getting tax advice from you. You can use Excel to develop tax plans. You can use Excel to do a lot of cash planning. And that cash planning has to do with budgeting and decision making. So that's why we chose those 2, because it gives you very good spread in terms of your profession. And it's a very powerful combination. Just because of time, progression options, level 1 tends to lead to level 2. When I say FCA, what I mean is the Foundation Certificate in Accounting level 2. So level one will lead into level 2, Foundation Certificate in Accounting and or work. And there's no time too early to find work. If you get level 1 qualification, there's nothing stopping you applying to Google or any other big company. They all have levels in them. They have levels of roles in every organization you see. Don't think you have to wait to get level 4 before you find a job. No. You should be looking for work already, and that's why when we lecture you, we tend to look for jobs, and we show you online the kind of jobs available. Someone asks questions about experience, we can deal with that separately. But generally speaking, you learn a lot of practical stuff with AAT that will give you the chance to go into organizations early. You can go into organizations and grow from there. You don't have to wait for the end of the qualification before you grow. Level 1 here, accounting software, also leads to level 2. The 2 of them leads to level 2 or work. So you could turn your course into part-time. And this is why this blended learning makes a lot of sense. Because blended learning gives you the opportunity to 1, get the knowledge, 2, build your skills, 3, get experience, 4, make money. I repeat it. Blended learning has a very good opportunity to 1, give you access to the knowledge, 2, skills, 3, experience, 4, make money, and even finally 5, make contact with people in the profession. So you're working in a very dynamic environment where you actually multiply effect than a full-time student who's at university for 3 years without any work experience. You're making money, you're getting contacts, you're getting experience, you're getting knowledge, and you're getting qualification at the same time. It just means that you'll be very, very mature and you must be very disciplined, which is what the professional standard requires of you, of all of us. Level 2 will move into level 3 naturally and the work. And then level 3 particularly, which is like A-level equivalent, will lead into level 4, work and or even university. So if you get level 3, you can go into university and start at level 1, year 1. You can take level 3 and start year 1 admission to university. The important thing is level 4 will not just take you into year 1. Level 4 will take you into year 2. You don't have to do year 1. And my experience of people working in universities, students that came from AAT always got the first class. They ended up with, because AAT pass mark is 70, university pass mark is 40. AAT distinction, first class is 70%, but the pass mark for AAT is 70 already. So the AAT students always end up with the first class because they're used to 70% as a pass mark, while the university the pass mark is 40 and the first class is 70. But AAT pass mark is 70, so they always get distinctions. You can go into work and you can become a chartered accountant. This is a progression route. So when you become an AAT member, you're running your business, you can then become a chartered accountant by going through ACCA. You can go through CIMA, Chartered Management Accounting. You can go through Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, Scotland. You can even become a financial modeler. You can go into university. It's many choices available to you, really. Now it comes to the very last item, which is what the pay scale is. And the pay scale here is what I'll just quickly go into the this. I put it here, I put the file initially, and I was hoping that this will just engage anybody who wanted to really find out the kind of income. This is available online, please. If you just search for, if you just do this search online, this is not from us, this is from AAT. If you just search online in Google, AAT scale salary survey, that's it. If you look at the salary survey AAT, and you go to that, it's just the latest one, 2019. If you go to that page online, and you just quickly put at the bottom here, you said what? Discover, sorry, not membership, salary survey. So this one is more interactive. Sorry, I think the one I did before was more interactive. I was hoping to use. 1 second. I had one open just now. Sorry. In any case, there's a survey online, and the one I looked at was interactive. I don't want to delay the whole process. You go in there and you put your location, you put your level, and if you tell you how much you likely your colleagues are earning in the real world. I don't think you're allowed. This is a PDF now. The one I had before was it's a PDF file, and it gives a breakdown on the kind of income that you should expect for the location that you find yourself. So that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Laddie. There's lots and lots of information in there. Don't worry, everybody. We really do not expect you to remember all of that, some of it, most of it. So please do relax. Now we have got one of our amazing learners who's currently on program with us, Maria. And so Maria and Charlotte, who has done a fantastic job in putting this event together, are going to have a conversation together with a Q&A session with things that you as prospective learners might like to know. And again, please do remember that if you've got any questions, put them in the chat function, raise your hand, and we'll address them at the end. So I shall mute and turn off my camera again and hand over to Charlotte and Maria. Thank you. And thank you, Laddie. That was really detailed. Thank you.
Perfect.
Lovely introduction.
Hi, Maria. So thank you for joining us today. Please, can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to do an accounting course with WAES?
I decided to do an accounting course at WAES because I've studied there before, so I know that they always deliver, you know, highly professional level courses. Also, we were kind of in the midst of the pandemic at the time, and seeing that I haven't worked for a while, I just thought there's not really much chance of me getting a job in the current situation, seeing that people were being laid off and made redundant. And I didn't really want to be sitting around doing nothing. So I thought if I sign up, because after doing a bit of research, I found out that accountancy is one of the few professions that is actually growing. And so I didn't really want to be sitting around having blank spaces, like gaps. So it's something else to add to my CV, and more skills to add, and another qualification to add onto my CV.
Perfect. And so which level are you currently on? And please, can you tell us a little bit about what topics you cover?
I'm currently doing the level 2 certificate in accounting. So I jumped straight into that one after I did my interview and my assessment. So the lady that interviewed me was happy after I did my English and maths test that I could just go straight into a level 2 course. And like Laddie's just explained, we covered, we did bookkeeping transactions, bookkeeping controls, elements of costing, using accounting software, and at the end we sort of revised for the synoptic, which is a kind of a combination of the first 3 units. That was that for that exam. So kind of, I think it's 4 topic areas, 4 or 5 topic areas in total.
Cool. And are you planning on continuing with your accountancy qualifications after you finish this level?
I'm hoping to. I am currently waiting to hear back from the enrolment team. So I'm hopefully, if there are still spaces available, I'll get a space on the level 3 course, as I know the teaching there, like Laddie has been a brilliant teacher, and hoping to learn a lot more from him.
That's amazing. And so what's been your favourite thing about the course?
Besides learning about the new subjects, you know, because it's quite new for me, I did a little bit of accounting, bookkeeping in the past. So besides learning about the new subjects, I think just the fact that it has been online, mostly distance learning, the fact that I can just roll out of bed, turn the laptop on and join the class. So I could be sitting around in my pajamas and scribbling down my notes and drinking my coffee and not having to spend over an hour traveling there and back, because I live quite far away from Liston Grove, so it's not that easy for me to get there.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm sure that'll appeal to a lot of people. So what advice would you give to someone thinking about enrolling?
I think basically, you know, do a bit of research, have a good think about it, because it is quite a heavy course. I'd say you have to be quite mathematically minded to do this course. Also be prepared to put in the hard work from the beginning, because it can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're new to it and jumping into the level 2 like I did. Maybe easier if you do start from a level 1, I'm not sure. And I'd say make good use of the resources. So there's the WAES equals platform, and also there's loads and loads of material on the AAT website. So you can do practice tests. They've got green light tests, which test you on different areas, and there's absolutely loads and loads of information to help you. And also they also run different little webinars and seminars as well, which I found quite useful.
Oh, thank you. And finally, what do you feel you've gained from enrolling on this course?
I think because I've achieved quite high grades in general, that's given me a lot more confidence in myself and what I can be capable of, and also more confidence to get back out there and to get a job, get back into the workplace. And on top of that, you know, obviously more skills that could be useful even if I don't go into an accountancy job. I think it's excellent knowledge to have for maybe setting up my own business in the future at some point.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with everyone today, Maria.
No problem.
Yeah, I echo that. Thank you so much, Maria, and we wish you the best of luck with the rest of your course, and we look forward to seeing you on the level 3 next year.
Hopefully. Thanks, Gail.
Fantastic, thank you, and thank you, Charlotte. So now I would like to introduce to you a very important lady at Westminster Adult Education Service. I'm going to introduce Annette Robson, who is the head of learner development. Her team provide a wealth of support for all of our learners. So over to you, Annette. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Gail. Appreciated. So Charlotte, can you just share your screen if you wouldn't mind?
Yes, no problem.
Just while we're just you know, waiting for my presentation, I've got a number of slides I just want to share with you all, and I just want to give you a flavour of the types of support that you will be able to access as a WAES learner. So my first slide is around learning support. So Charlotte, if you could just move the slide forward for me.
Sorry, I'm pressing it.
Yes. Thank you. It's around learning support. We get a lot of questions at WAES about what sort of support can I access, and you know, does support, you know, how can support help me with my course? Well, the first one is around the learning support, and it's that academic support or that nurturing coaching support with your learning. And, you know, Wendy and Wendy's team have had a variety of workshops across all of the centres, and I'm hearing the AAT is primarily online, and that's not a problem. You know, we offer support online, you know, or in person. We do specific dyslexia assessments and initial consultation and screening. And, you know, we are able to use specialist equipment if required, which could assist you in your learning. We also do work alongside sort of the confidence building and general advice and support linked with your learning. Now, if you're here this evening and you're thinking, I really want to get onto one of those courses that Laddie has been talking about, whether it's a level 1 or you've maybe done accountancy before, and it might be level 3 that you're looking at, but you want to just have a little bit of an impartial chat with somebody about learning support. If you want to email learningsupport@waes.ac.uk, and we can set you up with an advisor who can talk about that, you know, support with you. So my next slide talks more about the well-being and safeguarding at WAES. And what do I mean by well-being, and what do I mean about safeguarding? Well, safeguarding wellbeing means an awful lot of different things to a lot of people, but we do look at wellbeing support, and we can talk, you know, you through, you know, additional support with mental health, or just that, you know, emotional well-being support. And actually, you know, that has made a lot of difference to a lot of learners. And actually, you know, we've been meeting with learners all week, and the funny thing that has come out of this week, or should I say the interesting thing that's come out of this week, is learners have said, what's really improved my mental health and well-being is studying, actually being online, being in a class, being with other people. So, you know, yes, the wellbeing agenda, we can offer support with that. We have specific and dedicated safeguarding officers that work across WAES, and, you know, we meet with learners as appropriate. We can, you know, look at giving confidential advice and guidance, and we link with internal, you know, services, and we link with external support services. And, you know, as part of the wellbeing or the safeguarding role, we keep in touch with learners. So if any of you want to have a chat with a safeguarding officer, we do have a dedicated safeguarding@waes.ac.uk, and I will also put my email in the chat when I finished. So if any of you wanted to have a little talk to me about any of these issues, please feel free to email. My next slide talks a bit about financial support, and I was listening to Lade where he was talking about loans at level 3. He was talking about eligibility, and can be a little bit of a minefield, if I'm very honest with you. But actually what we can offer is, you know, financial support, and that financial support would be with things like equipment and resources. It could be to help with licenses. It could help with, you know, a laptop loan scheme. You know, I'm hearing a lot is online, but if you have to come into the centres for any specific reason, or to take an exam, we can help you with travel. We can help with childcare, and that would be, you know, with an external childcare provider, somebody maybe locally to where you live, or it could be internally, because we have 2 really, you know, amazing nurseries on site. Now, you know, we have financial support through the discretionary learner support fund for people who are on low income or means tested benefits. And if you have to take out a loan as part of your course, we do have a loans bursary. So quite a bit of support available for you as a WAES learner. And we do have a dedicated email, and you know, please email and speak with an advisor. The next slide talks a little bit about progression and development at WAES. We are really proud of our careers and employability at WAES, and each, course has entitlements. And what does that mean? Well, it means that as a WAES learner, you would be entitled to speak to a careers advisor. You would be entitled to have help with your CV. You'd be having help with, applying for jobs, etc. And, as Laddie pulled up his courses, a level 1 course would have a careers entitlement, a level 2 would have a different entitlement bespoke to that particular level, and level 3 would have, a different, entitlement specifically around level 3 and, the options post level 3. At WAES, we have progression weeks. We have structured progression weeks in November, in February, and again in June. And all of the AAT learners have actually, embraced and taken part with progression weeks for our guest speakers. I can remember in November, we had 2 accountants talking about, what it was like, within industry, what it's like in industry. We had an internal speaker who was talking about, being an accountant at WAES. We do a HE event in, October, and we have a lot of support around HE, and we also link with, 6 local London universities. We do CV and job applications, and we have the National Career Service that work alongside WAES, and they come into, they support us 3, 4, 5 days a week. So we're very lucky, and one of, we are one of the unique providers that have that National Career Service attached to us. And, we do the dedicated careers. We have dedicated careers advisors who work across the week, and even on a Saturday, because we are open on a Saturday. And just to say, the support it can be digital, so it can be, online, it can be face to face, and it can also help with coaching, and your confidence around interviews, particularly at level 3. If somebody's looking at going on to an interview, we can do mock interviews to get you ready, for attending an interview. We can support you with online interviews as well as face to face. We can support you, with confidence building. So a lot going on really with, progression and, developmental work at WAES. And then finally, I think my final slide is, another one that we're very passionate about at WAES is the learner voice, because without our learners, and the feedback from our learners, we can't really improve what we do. And, every term we do a you said and a we did. And funnily enough, this week is our, learner, rep forums. And, those forums are chaired by our assistant principal and principals. Our principal Arinola and our assistant principals, Alison for curriculum and quality and Howard for business support services. So every course has a group representative. We've got 114 group representatives, across WAES, and as I said, we value the feedback. We have specific focus groups. So I know, Gail, who's presenting this session, has hosted her feedback forums across this academic year, and some really good feedback that's come out. So we're able to improve, what we offer as a curriculum and how we support our learners. We also have a mentoring scheme, and for the next academic year, we've got some really exciting things ahead. So all of that would be available for you as, AAT learners. So I just want to finally say, think about your career. It's important. Put your application in, talk to an advisor if you want some more information about the course, because actually when you maybe wake up tomorrow, you think, I've got a question, I'd like to maybe ask somebody that question before I commit, please, email, and ask. But it's been lovely being here with you. I will put my name in the email in the chat. Thank you. And I'd like to now hand you back to Gail. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Annette. Again, you know, lots of fantastic information about how we at Westminster Adult Education Service can support you to achieve your goals. So what we're going to do now, we are drawing to the end of the formal part of our session. So we have a number of our learning experience officers who are ready at the end of the question and answer session to pick up the phone, call you. We've got your contact details, and to get you started on enrolments, basically, or to answer any specific questions that we don't cover in the Q&A chat. So now I'm going to hand over to Charlotte and myself, Laddie, Annette, anyone who's presented, and the wider team who are here. We will endeavour to answer your questions. So I believe that Charlotte is taking the lead on this.
Yeah, I can do. Hello, everyone. So if anyone has any questions, if you're comfortable asking them to the group, if you just want to put your hand up using the hand icon that Gail mentioned at the start, or if you'd rather write a question in the chat, then that's fine as well. I can read it out and we'll direct it to the most relevant member of the team to answer. So yes, who wants to kick us off?
Gosh, everyone's very quiet.
Yeah, they all normally are to begin with, and then as soon as the ball gets rolling.
Exactly. Does anyone have any questions? Because Laddie gave an awful lot of detail. Does anybody want to go over the eligibility for each level of course? If you do, just hit your hand picture. Okay. Does anybody want to ask any questions about enrichment activities and how we work with employers? No.
Everyone's very quiet, Gail.
Very quiet. Does anybody want to ask, I don't know, if I've got a crystal ball and I can tell you if in 3 weeks' time the weather's going to be good? Oh no, we've got someone just wanting to join, so I've just admitted them. Okay, I mean, how much does it cost? Okay, right, it depends on which level, whether it's funded. I think, Annette, you're more likely better to answer that one.
What I'll say, Salma, is I would wait until you speak to an advisor, because it might be different for an awful lot, depending on what level and depending on your personal situation. So it may be different. It would be totally different for somebody who's working full time to somebody who's maybe only working a small amount of hours to somebody who's on means tested benefits. If, however, somebody needs to take out a loan, because actually that's the only way the course is funded, then, you know, the loan would cover your tuition and there would be a set price for that course, which would be level 3 or above. Now, Tony Martinez has just placed something in the chat. What I would say to you, Salma, is talk to an advisor, talk individually, because there would be a lot of personal information that actually they may ask you, and it will be different for a lot of people. Salma, are you okay with my answer? Okay, so Tony is saying follow the link, prices should be there. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Tracy O'Hara, who's actually the coordinator for this area, has put a comment in the chat asking if we can go through a little bit more about mindful education. This is the online learning platform that I mentioned briefly and Laddie did, and you might have noticed in Laddie's presentation we had their logo, and I am just checking to see if we have still got Kelly from Mindful Education here. We have. Hi, Kelly. Are you still here?
I am.
Brilliant. Hi, Kelly. Would you mind just sort of, you know, for the benefit of our prospective learners, just very briefly talking about what Mindful Education is, the platform, and how we sort of work together?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
So yeah, my name's Kelly. I am Head of Delivery for Accounting at Mindful. So thank you for inviting me to join your event today. It's been lovely to be involved in this with you all. So Mindful Education, we are an online publisher of accounting material. So we're not a training provider, we are more of a publisher. What we do is we've created a series of media-rich courses in accounting, as well as CIPD and CMI. What will happen on a blended qualification is you will have access to a virtual learning environment where you will study the content of the accountancy course, be it level 2, level 3, level 4, whichever level you're on. Each week you'll have a lesson, and in that lesson it will cover some specific content on the qualification itself. You'll then have videos and animations that will bring that content to life. And then there's a series of questions and activities for you to work through, work on, that's going to support and embed what you've already learned. You'll do this, like I said, every week. So there's a lesson available to you, or a series of lessons available to you on a weekly basis. And then you will attend a session with your experienced tutor at Westminster Adult Education Service, where you'll have the opportunity to discuss, reinforce and talk about what you've learnt online. So it's a flipped approach, it's a blended approach. So you start learning online, start understanding and embedding some of those skills, and then you get the opportunity to practice, talk about, discuss with your peers, and really embed what you've learned before you move on to the next lesson. So that's Mindful in a nutshell.
Thank you very much for that, Kelly, and we're very much looking forward to working with Mindful Education and Kelly and her colleagues at Mindful Education. So thank you very much. And Tracy loves your nails.
Thank you. I love my nails too.
Has anybody else got any questions at this stage? No, okay, right. So, I mean, what we're proposing to do now is, if anybody would like to speak privately on one-to-one with one of our learning experience officers, then please in your chat just put yes, please, and then what we will do is they will call you as soon as this meeting finishes. Oh, Tracy, you keep asking questions. How long is the level 3 and the level 4 course? So the level 3 course is run over one academic year. So we will be starting in September, and that will be finishing in July of next year. And the level 4 course is run over one academic year and one term. So that will be starting in September and finishing at the end of term 1 next year. Brighty has asked a question: when is the level 4 starting? That is starting in September. I haven't got the exact date off the top of my head, but please do have a look. And Antonio has actually put the link in the chat. And Tracy said that she thought she'd just generate some more questions. Thanks, Tracy.
So if anybody would like one of our learning experience officers to get in touch with you now, if you've got some questions which you'd rather ask just one-to-one, or if you would like to begin the enrolling process, then they can give you a ring. So you might remember when you signed up to the Eventbrite link, we did ask you to put a phone number down. If for whatever reason that's not your preferred phone number to be contacted on, please can you comment in the chat and then send me a private message with the correct phone number, and I'll then pass it on to our LEO team. But if that phone number's fine, then just comment in the chat and we'll get in touch with you. We've had another question about, do we provide job internships after AAT level 3?
So we don't provide internships. We are. So obviously the pandemic happened. everywhere shut down. So we're just starting now to rebuild those relationships with accounting employers. To this is what I was talking about enrichment, to arrange for them to come in and do presentations or do it virtually like that, or allow us to take you all to their premises for a walk and a talk and a show round, and also to discuss with the employers the possibility of work experience. We ourselves don't deliver or do internships as such. There might be the larger organisations, of which there are some large some large accounting or financial institutions and organisations in and around Westminster. They may well offer an internship at a certain level, but off the top of my head, I don't know of any. And this is something that we would work with our local employer links. And Tracy said the level 4 starts on Wednesday, the 14th of September. It's a pleasure, Brighty, no problem. So,
sorry, Gail, I don't know if this will be any of use. With the AAT, students obviously have access to the AAT website. You'll get my AAT account. There may be opportunities on there for internships, potentially. So there'll be a section on the AAT website that might offer students opportunities with employers in the local area. Just
Thank you very much for pointing that out, Kelly. So, I mean, I haven't seen anybody put in the chat that they want to speak to an LEO. We will keep this channel open for a little bit, Charlotte, in case anybody wants to put it on when this, when I hang up or what have you. But if you're not sure today, or you've got something to do this evening and you can't commit to talking to someone this evening, we are open. We've got an open day. You can come and meet us in the flesh on Saturday the 26th of June at the Lisson Grove Centre. Please do pop along. Laddie will be there, I'll be there, Annette will be there, Tracy will be there. Charlotte, who has set up this afternoon's event, will be there. So if you want to come along and have a chat and start the enrolment process, then that's fine. But I think that's it for now, Charlotte. Yeah?
Yes, I think it is. Just to say, I'll also send a follow-up email to everyone who's attended today with contact details if you would like to get in touch in the next few days and schedule a conversation then.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join. Thank you very much, Kelly from Mindful Education, for joining us. And thank you, colleagues from across Westminster Adult Education Service for joining. And we really do look forward to welcoming all of you next year. Come join us. Okay? Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.